Alrighty, welcome back. We're still not ready to talk to Gamora. We're still going to read through the Galactic Compendium. Last episode we dived into all the characters. This episode we're going to dive into the rest, which is a lot. So we have a faction overview. Of course, we know the Guardians of the Galaxy. They are registered as legally incorporated heroes for hire under permit 67398-2, although their record has yet to include anything fitting that description. They appear to be primarily mercenaries, accepting low-paying bottom-tier jobs from the Bagoo bounty hunter board, with an astonishingly low success rate. In fact, users of the board now use GOTG as a term for contract failure. Example, whoops, I got GOTG'd that job. The most notable Guardians include Gamora Zenvoberi, daughter of Thanos, and Drax the Destroyer, slayer of Thanos. Their captain, Star-Lord, is a former Ravager pirate and conman who listed the Milano M-class Ravager scout vessel as the group's base of operations. They also harbor Rocket, a deadly and wildly unpredictable experimental Cree bioweapon, and a violent flora colossus named Groot. We also have the Ravages. The unmistakably silhouette of a Ravager ship was once enough to panic any merchant vessel. The Ravages were a collection of motley crews banded together under one pirate banner. They were the reason most interstellar cargo ships now travel with advanced weaponry or security escorts. Nova Corps tried many times to crack down on them, but their arrests were often rail-broken by the substantial pirate fleet. Many of the most wanted were shielded by the galaxy's various crime lords. Their reign of terror stopped with the arrest of their untouchable leader, Yondu Donta. Purportedly ratted out by one of his own crew, Donta was arrested by Nova Corps and sentenced to life imprisonment in the kiln. Betrayal spread distrust and doubt throughout the Ravages, causing division. They have yet to reunite under a new leader, but Nova Corps warns that they are still a major threat waiting to once again reveal itself. We also have the Galactic War. There was an armed conflict that claimed the lives of trillions of sentient beings. The aggressors were the Chitauri, a warlike race bent on conquest to expand their territory. Thanos, the mad titan, allied with them, focusing their attacks on their enemies' key seats of power. Together, they destroyed Xandar, host world of Nova Corps. Oh dear. The Chitauri sliced the planet into pieces. Kreelar, capital city-state of the Cree, was the next to fall. Both the Chitauri underestimated the resiliency and determination of their opponents. The Cree army regrouped, bolstering their forces with the Resistance, a ragtag fleet of fighters who'd been harassing Chitauri warships since Xandar's destruction. Eventually, the Cree and Resistance fleets launched a three-pronged attack on Chitauri Prime. Each attacked on a different front, while a stealth group of skilled operatives landed and captured the Chitauri Infant Queen. The Chitauri quickly surrendered. Thanos himself was ultimately slain by a vengeful Carthathian named Drax the Destroyer. Yeah, but Drax doesn't believe that, so that one didn't happen. Cycles later, the impact of the war can still be felt across the galaxy as people try to pick up the pieces and rebuild. We have the Chitauri. They are a hate-filled race of shapeshifters and evolutionary offshoots of the Skrull. What? Well, that's interesting. They believe their existential purpose is to expand their empire through the destruction or subjugation of all life in the universe. This doctrine led them into launching the Galactic War. They nearly conquered everything until the combined forces of the Cree, Empire, and the Resistance fleet. That's two spaces. Space pressed twice. Typo. Pushed them back to Chitauri Prime and put their infant queen at risk. Unable to function without their monarch, the Chitauri surrendered. Now they are broken people. They are forbidden spacefaring vessels and any technology that could be considered weaponry. Under close watch by Council of United Planets, Chitauri Prime has become a prison world. However, those who have faced them in battle know that they are insidious schemers and infiltrators. Many worry that they are already plotting their revenge. We have also the Cree, known for exceptional arrogance. By the way, if you want to experience how the Cree are, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not the first seasons, but later on. The Cree will have a substantial role in an alternate version of Earth. The Cree are an advanced militaristic race from the planet Hala who obsess over genetic purity. The Cree control over 1,000 worlds, many of which have become centers for biomechanical engineering and genetic manipulation. They are eager to push the limits of evolution. By the way, they on Earth. Go watch Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't want to spoil it too much on that regard. Have even divided their society into castes based on blue or pink skin. The Cree are ruled by the Supreme Intelligence. Also, go watch Captain Marvel. I'm not a big fan of her, of the actress. She doesn't fit the role, but still watch the movie so you can understand all this Cree thing. Similar to the Xandarian world mind, is an amalgamation of minds processed and compiled from deceased Cree. Though the Cree can be difficult to tolerate, they have found their place among various populations across the galaxy and boast some of the most renowned galactic war heroes. We also have the Nova Corps. It's an interstellar peacekeeping militia commanded by the collective intelligence of the Xandarian world mind. Through the world mind, Nova Corpsmen can use the power of the Nova Force to wield impressive weaponry and travel through space. Though never granted authority by the countless worlds under their watch, Nova Corps is mostly accepted as a galactic defense force, especially during large-scale conflicts. Nova Corps was nearly wiped out at the start of the Galactic War, when the Chitauri attacked Xandar and the Corps sacrificed themselves to allow evacuation. Now in the process of rebuilding and restoring galactic order, the Corps finds itself stretched thin and vulnerable, something the world mind will not admit. Criminal elements are thriving with a reduced scrutiny, but Nova Corps has recently been making examples of the ones they do catch. As new Xandar nears completion, we have new Xandar, because the old Xandar is gone. That's a big difference to the MCU. The Nova Corps is once again a galactic force to be taken seriously. And we have the Spatoy Empire, the place where Peter Quill apparently derived from, or his father. The Spatoy Empire originated from its capital planet. I could spoiler you hard. I mean, no, it's not a spoiler. You read that before in his file, even though the persons didn't talk about it in the game. He's the son of the Emperor. He's a prince of Spatoy. Even though apparently, maybe he does? No, it's just odd. Anyway, the Spatoy Empire originated from its capital planet Spartax and extended to 100 different worlds. The Spatoy were the military-focused people, who valued monarchy above all else, raising the Emperor of Spartax to an almost godlike status. The entire empire once moved at his command, and if he fell, the royal succession line was extensively charted to ensure an immediate transfer of power. Historians believe that the Chitauri took advantage of its weakness to eliminate a serious threat before the Galactic War. They located and abducted a member of the Spatoy royal bloodline. So the beings we fought, the farm, they're talking about Peter. These beings we shot in the latest dream, where we had to kill his mom. These were Chitauri. Peter is, of course, this member that was abducted, keeping the Empire inert long enough to deploy their own fleet, destroying all communications and military capabilities. Spartax has not restored interplanetary communications since the Galactic War, leaving the rest of its former empire in the dark, where they once produced and openly sold some of the most advanced weapons technology known to the galaxy. They have now completely isolated themselves. All diplomatic missions have failed. I hope we will dive into this in this game. We also have the Resistance. The Chitauri began their wave of slaughter at the start of the Galactic War by destroying the Nova Corps host world Xandar. With Nova Corps nearly eradicated, the galaxy was left without its primary peacekeeping force. Only one small squadron of Nova Centurions remained, led by Richard Ryder. The Xandarian world mind tried to recall them, determined to protect their repository of Xandarian history and culture. But Ryder defied them and assembled a resistance force to take the fight right to the Chitauri. With the world mind loudly protesting inside his helmet, Ryder's resistance toured the bombed worlds and promised justice to their broken people. With every stop, his forces grew. The resistance fleet became a parade of various races and ships, all flying the same flag, a Nova Corps symbol surrounded by flames. Little by little, they took back worlds, destroying Chitauri raiders along the way. Riders and entourage soon included most of the Carthathian defense force, the Centaurian Shadows, the Rigelian Thinker fleet, and even Gamora Zenvoberi, daughter of Thanos. We have the Hellraisers. Lady Hellbender's Hellraisers of Seknov 9 served as both royal guards and elite soldiers. They protect the Monster Queen and a menagerie of rare and terrible beasts. I need to take a sip from the water bottle. Okay, these were 3 sips. They are trained extensively to properly herd and care for the many deadly predators that often roam freely in their presence, but the job has a disturbingly high rate of accidents. Despite intimidating uniforms meant to evoke the raw ferocity of their mistress's monsters, it is well known that the Hellraisers are more than eager to put down their weapons and spend an evening of drinks and debauchery with successful monster sellers. In fact, they are known to do this every night. Lady Hellbender gives them leeway, knowing that any guard who loses their edge will simply become food for her children. And we have the Converted. A bizarre phenomenon is sweeping through the galaxy. The treacherous resistance, leaving previously rational people, changed in a profound way. Scientists from several worlds have pooled their expertise to find a cause and a potential cure, but they have had little success. Experts cannot even agree on whether it is a virus, some type of brainwashing, or perhaps something less scientific, and more in the realm of mystics. They have, however, compiled a list of observations about these Converted. Most distinguishable is a sickly purple glow or aura around the body. The energy generated is currently unidentified and impossible to measure. The minds of the Converted are altered, and although they appear to retain much of their former selves, they are driven to coordinate with other Converted. Any former goals are replaced by a need to spread the message about something they call the Promise, which seems to be their version of paradise for all sentient creatures. Do not mistake this for pacifism. While the Converted appear calm and collected, they will attack with extreme violence if their message is rejected. The delivery method for this melody remains a mystery, but it is spreading fast. Novacore is advised isolation and quarantine until more is known. And we have the Nowhere security. When Cosmo, our Russian Soviet dog, took command of Nowhere, we have a haven for the galaxy's worst criminals. His primary goal was keeping the peace. He knew he'd need a reliable, incorruptible security force to help him do it. The perfect candidates arrived in the form of the Corbinites. With their planet eaten by Galactus, the World Eater. What? Galactus? No! Please tell me we're going to meet Galactus in this game. I mean, I doubt it. I mean, my YouTube feed is tainted by Marvel, and if there would be a high-quality AAA game Galactus cinematic, it would have been a suggestion for me already, so I'm relatively sure that there is no Galactus in this movie. YouTube would have suggested me a Galactus cinematic. I am relatively sure of that, like 99.99999987645.2%. The World Devourer. The Corbinite, the only survivor of the previous iteration of the multiverse. What? What? Someone knows the comics? No! The Corbinite survivors fled across the galaxy, eventually docking their sentient ship at Nowhere. Cosmo probed their minds telepathically to reveal their intent, finding them to be peaceful and eager to fit into a chaotic new world. As a hardy people with a strong sense of justice, they were a perfect match. And we have the Universal Church of Truth. The Catholic Church wants to know your location. Is a techno-religious organization. The Catholic Church just left the room. Technology? No. Focused on healing. I mean, the priests, I know that they don't even have a phone. I mean, a priest usually lives near the church. Usually with one human, usually a woman, acting as a sort of housekeeper. And those are usually the ones that have a telephone. The priest himself, he doesn't have a telephone. At least the ones I know. And we're not talking about a mobile phone. We're not talking about a smartphone. We're talking about a telephone. You know, the old ones. Somewhere in the living room. Where you had to walk there and then pick it up and then be like, good day. Anyway. Focused on healing and the relief of suffering. A noble cause. It began after its founded members, deep space miners, lost most of their colony to an incurable disease. Yeah, we've read about that. The group grew during the Galactic War. I'm going to start the sentence again, I'm sorry. The group grew during the Galactic War as world after world fell to the Chitauri assault. Reports of a holy man, an actual healer, not Jesus, not this time, traveling with the church only drew more the weary and wounded. You know, there are some reports throughout the ages of people believing Jesus didn't exist. I'm pretty sure he existed. The question is what kind of sense? It's possible that he was a wise man who had extensive knowledge of medicine and that he was able to help people and that other people saw it as magic, as the divine will. I believe he was an ordinary man with great capability and knowledge. But then again, it's just my belief. I wasn't there, I don't know. Led by the Grand Unifier, Raker, the Church brought rising hope in a time of great loss. However, the Church started to buckle under the weight of the war, casualties, and the death of its healer god. By the war's end, they had all but disappeared. The Church had since resurfaced, with the Grand Unifier once again at the forefront, but Nova Corps has registered it as a minor sect without significant influence. So we are done with the factions, and we have creatures. We have the Voxyplode. Voxyplodes were created in a Regalian bioweapon lab as an efficient way to disable an enemy ship from the inside. A hull-breaching Bohr missile delivered the payload and unleashed havoc upon the unsuspecting crew. The Voxyplode's method of locomotion is extremely simple, dropping and rolling along its gelatinous, thorny surface. It has an eye on each of its faces, used to locate enemy life forms, but also to spot and coordinate with others of its kind. A Voxyplode swarm is capable of significant damage. Its deadliest trait, however, is its ability to reform it into more Voxyplodes if it is torn into pieces, adding more numbers to its horde. The Regalians underestimated the resilience of their creatures, causing significant post-war complications as the Galactic War ended and cleanup began. And we have the Voodoo. Voodooms are one of the most adaptive species in the galaxy, and it's not unusual to find them on any planet bearing life, except Earth, because Earth is cool. They're known to plant their larvae in anything, especially fruits and vegetables, later infesting the creatures that eat them. What? Xenobiologists believe the booming animal trade market has almost single-handedly seeded these creatures onto multiple worlds. Without host plants to support their young, they are also capable of producing large masses of eggs. Oh, that's convenient. Crews fighting in the Galactic War reported waking up to find whole ship chambers covered in egg structures. The basic Voodoo has an impressive mass and uses its body to whip and crush its prey, intending to prevent escape by breaking bones. It is also capable of a thick slime spray which weighs down and binds anything trying to escape. We also have the Sherlock. The Sherlock. Not Sherlock. No, Watson, go away. The Sherlock is a nasty creature from Chitauri Prime that is often used as an interrogation tool. Its original name, Charlock, translates roughly to screaming chair, but not for any sound the creature makes. Captured resistance soldiers during the Galactic War feared being Sherlocked by the enemy, and for good reason. The Chitauri appear to have bred these beasts to have larger spikes and sharper edges than nature intended. Yeah, wonderful. So many sharp edges and spikes. Normally kept secure in the belly of a Chitauri vessel, many Sherlocks were set loose upon the enemy if the ship was about to be lost to a boarding party. Oh, that's nice. Not. We have the Moniscobool. These unusual creatures are found exclusively in Novacor's post-war wreckage dump, the quarantine zone. The fact that they were never seen before led scientists to believe it was a mutation caused by the radiation and toxic substances within the crashed ships. Genetic analysis concluded that the Moniscobool was originally a Huskian splinterate, a common breed of vermin found aboard many deep space ships. This mutation has increased its size tenfold and distorted its body to the point where it is unrecognizable. Novacor has assured scientists that these unfortunate beasts will be sealed away and destroyed with the rest of these hazardous contents of the quarantine zone bubble. Yeah. We have the Arcanti. Legends about the Arcanti say that these giant space whales are spiritual knowledge seekers who travel the cosmos in search of ancient wisdom and then, upon their impending death, hurl themselves into stars that their souls may pass on to the next Arcanti. What am I reading? It's ridiculous. These tales certainly do not match the Arcanti living on Seknav 9, under the care of the Monster Queen, but Lady Hellbender herself has an explanation to offer. She claims her Arcanti are rescues taken from the Brood, who wanted to use them as space-faring vessels. Her whales had been lobotomized, robbed of their free will. She has returned what she could to them. They sorry. They fly free and are welcome to leave should they again seek the stars. Instead, they remain near their savior. Oddly, these creatures, known for their peaceful nature, fight vigorously to protect their queen. And we have the Chagoggle! The Chagoggle! These sorry. These deceptively slow-moving gelatinous cubes often surprise their prey by hurling to themselves forward or ambushing from above. The strange biology of a Seknafian Jacoggle consists of a living crystal core surrounded by a protective digestive barrier of slime. Xenobiologist Fergom has run several extensive experiments to measure the creature's intelligence, but she concluded that they don't actually think outside of 4 basic commands. See food, move towards food, kill food, eat food. Fergom updated her list upon discovering more evolved Jacoggles deep in the Seknafian wilds. It now includes shred food with crystal spikes and explode. Wonderful. We have the Manatee. No, the Mantani. Yeah, I know Manatees, but these are Mantani. Mantani are airborne predatory beasts that were nearly hunted to extinction for their pliable hides and the delicious egg clusters they carry upon their backs. Mantani caviar is one of the most frequently smuggled goods in the entire galaxy, while secretly supporting loathsome and treacherous resistance. No, go be weasel again. If you haven't noticed, in the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, one commander of the First Order was once a Weasley in Harry Potter. And then he became a side joke. I mean, the entire sequel trilogy is a side joke. It's a fan fiction. But they are not easy prey. What would appear to be fangs near the front of their skulls are venomous stingers, unrelated to their mouths. Wait, where are the stingers? Oh dear, you see them? A deep sting from the female of the species causes excruciating pain, if not death. The male sting causes mild irritation. Unfortunately, there is no way to identify which is which without a lab analysis, since all Mantane produce and carry eggs. What? The Mantane are thriving once again on Seknav 9, thanks to the Monster Queen's preservation efforts. We also have the Slake Beast. Slake beasts can be found throughout the wilds of Saknov 9. They are extremely fast, sleek quadrupeds with fang-filled splayed face. What? Although they heavily rely on scent to hunt, they do have a set of rudimentary eyes within their mouth structures. An aggressive slake beast might roar to get a better look at its victim. Its bite is deadly, but its tail is even bigger. Cause for concern. Slake beasts have evolved the ability to freeze prey with a glowing barb, a skill they use to trap their primary food source, the Jakogl. But on a monster planet like Saknov 9, even the fearsome slake beast sits low on the totem pole of the food chain. They are a frequent meal for Lady Hellbender's much larger monsters. I need 1 second to sneeze. Alrighty. And we have the common barbwing. The Saknafian common barbwing wears its entire digestive system on the outside. What? Wait, what? What the heck? Its stomach extends along the entire length of its underbelly, and it's covered in tiny fanged feeding sphincters. Using its taloned wings and its impressive pinchers, it traps its prey, wrapping its entire body around the other animal to eat. Ugh. Because it seeks exposed flesh, it is typical for a barbwing to target a person's face or neck. Saknafian locals know that when they encounter an attack of this creature, it's often more humane to just shoot the victim. Ugh. And we have the Warthos. The Haradrim want to know your location. The Kanyan Warthos is a towering quadruped capable of carrying 50 times its own weight, making an exceptional beast of burden. It has enormous tusks it uses to burrow in the sides of rocky cliffs. When Kyans hear the thunderous sound, they immediately rally their defenses. Warthos, protecting its den, can easily tear down an entire village. The monster queen of Saknov 9 owns nearly as many Warthos as there are on Kai. She has used them to reconstruct her palace, transport goods, and as the backbone of a personal monster army. She treats her beasts so well they pose no threat to her property. And we have Gnasher and Gasher. Gnasher and Gasher are two sibling Rydurums who have become Lady Hellbender's most beloved pets. Rumor has it she paid more than twice the value of her own palace for these two beasts. She personally raised them from pups, and the three now share an almost telepathic link. She can simply give them a look, and they will immediately jump to her protection. Lady Hellbender often rides the larger Rydurm, Gnasher. Rydurms are voracious predators, and it's rare to find two anywhere near each other in the wild. A single Rydurm is responsible for the natural culling of entire animal populations. What? That's not good. While their fangs and claws are deadly, their tails are like wrecking balls. Okay, I'm not going to make a reference to a particular song. Simply because it's just a shame what happened to that woman. She was once super cool and made cool music, looked awesome, and then she went full, I don't know, emo? Something like that? It's just odd. She was a normal, cool, hot girl, and then she just became something else. I mean, in the end, it's just important that she likes herself. My opinion doesn't really matter in that regard. It's just my opinion. Deceptively heavy with tails muscled along enough to wield them. A Rydurm can pulverize the chest of a much bigger animal with a single blow. Gnasher and Gasher have been trained so well they only occasionally smash down the palace walls. And we have the Tara Tara! Wait, that's the Tara Tara. The Tara Tara is an odd little creature from Maklu 4 that looks like a pile of eyeballs bursting out of a tiny frame. However, it can convincingly mimic just about any living creature it sees, even shrinking or enlarging its mass to pull off the deception. Its meek appearance is another trick, as it will often lure in a much larger beast looking for an easy meal, and then transform into something even bigger. Though the Tara appears to be of average animal intelligence, its camouflage is not just visual. It intimidates scent and even behavior so expertly that another beast's own family cannot tell the difference. As such, a dangerous and entertaining evolutionary oddity, the Tara remains in high demand by monster collectors. We also have the Wall Igblob. No, Igblob. What? Lady Hellbender of Seknov 9 saved as many woolly drops as she could from their home planet Corbin before it was destroyed. So far, they have had a very hard time adapting to their new home's managed predators, even with the Monster Queen's care. Woolly crops look a lot like carbonite spiny potatoes, a natural evolution that allowed them to hunt smaller prey on their home world. They burrow beneath the soil, leaving the root-like appendages on their faces sticking out of the ground, just like the vegetables, and pounce on any would-be scavengers. Sadly, on Seknov 9, none of the smaller animals seek out carbonite spiny potatoes. Samwise Gamgee wants to know your locations. Potatoes, smash them, blood, put them in a stew. Go watch Lord of the Rings. But many other larger ones do have a taste for Wollycrob. We also have the Scrat. Scrats can be found throughout nowhere, but the largest packs of them inhabit the market. These tiny balls of fur are incredibly fast and weigh very little. In fact, a Scrat is in no danger of falling from one of Nowhere's many precarious walkways, since they'll gently float down to safety. That's nice. Nowhere's Scrat catchers have very little luck apprehending the vermin due to their exceptional vision and multiple eyes. Damn. These are like rats on steroids. While Scrats originally surfaced by stealing food from Nowhere's miners, they have since thrived on the market's garbage and dropped crumbs. Their population has grown exponentially over the past few cycles, which has led the station's chief of security, Cosmo, to begin chasing them down himself. Oh, okay. We have the Inquisitor. Formerly known as 280 Deep Dredgers, the Inquisitor machines of the Universal Church of Truth were once deep space mining robots. When the mining ships called out a large ore sample, the colony would begin to construct their workstations inside. These robots would begin the initial work to ensure the environment was safe enough to move in construction crews. The robots have since been heavily modified to serve as personal guards for Grand Unifier Raker. With new hardware and powered by an unquantifiable energy source, Faith, the Inquisitor's abilities cannot be measured. However, one can assume an Asgardian destroyer could cut through them, but their previous functions do remain. They have solid, flexible metal bodies and can extend their limbs great distances. Specialized tools that enable them to quickly drill through rock and project cutting lasers make them a formidable foe for all the rock. I see. We have Otrogi. The Otrogi is one of Seknov 9's largest beasts. Well, it looks interesting, to say the least. Capable of growing as tall as the tree line itself. Unfortunately, the former ruler priests slaughtered the largest of the herd to build ritual structures with their gargantuan bones. The fiercely protected Otrogi that remain on the planet are adolescents and will not reach their full size for thousands of rotations. The Otrogi uses its studied shoulder blades to pinch and clip the tallest branches, depositing various fruits into its flat back. No, a rotation is a day, right? I'm not sure of the Marvel way of counting time. Sturdy shoulder blades to pinch and clip the tallest branches, depositing various fruits onto its flat back. Its prehensile tubes reach up, sort through its food and then deliver it to its mouth. The flat horn on Otorogi's skull and its deadly claws are used exclusively for defense. It is a herbivore. Alrighty. So, we have read through characters, factions, and creatures. And next time we're going to dive through places, items, maybe even archives. Let's see. What do we have in archive anywhere? Oh, okay. Okay. Until next time.